All right, Shalom. I want to start by saying, Call halal, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Kakadash. Double honors to the Apostles of Israel, aka the Apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. All right, real quick. Um, Lord, what's been going on the last few days, and what will be going on for the next couple of weeks is we have a major buildup of U.S. military forces in the Middle East already, and headed to the Middle East, and arriving in the Middle East. And we getting down, it's getting closer and closer to that great day. And it's not a game. This shit ain't a game. Like, this is very serious, it's very real, and it's very much going to happen. Okay? Now, no, it's like they say today that there's been like so much buildup in such a short amount of time that the way it's looking, it's like it's for surely going to be an attack once everything is all situated. Now, with that being said, there have been, like YAHAWASHI said, there have been wars, rumors of wars, and the NLT has said wars and threats of wars. But now the threats are getting more serious, and now the threats are getting more closer to happening. All right, to where like they're going to end up being wars instead of rumors of wars involving Iran, involving America, involving the small hats, involving Russia, involving China, all that, man. All that good stuff. This is the third woe the Lord talked about that was going to come quickly. All right. So I'm going to get into this article. This is from Israel Hayom, and it's one of the small hats platforms. And it says, report 90% chance of U.S. kinetic action on Iran. Now, this article, today's the 18th, right? So this came out at, I think today's the 18th, right? So this came out at 2 in the afternoon. All right? Now I'm going to get right into it. So it says Axios, and so it's Axios reporting. It says Axios reported, citing sources close to President Donald Trump, that a potential U.S. strike on Iran would not be short and focused like the operation in Venezuela, but instead last at least several weeks. More than 150 U.S. military cargo aircraft have landed in the Middle East over the past day. Now, you gotta understand, there's already a U.S. aircraft carrier that's been over there since last year. Because last year was that 12-day war, and it hasn't been back since. And they said it was supposed to return in the springtime, but the way it's looking, it possibly might not. All right. It said the American news site Axios reported, citing sources close to President Donald Trump, that a potential U.S. strike on Iran would not be short and narrowly focused like the operation in Venezuela, but would instead last at least several weeks. Excuse me. It says, according to the report, more than 150 U.S. military cargo aircraft have landed in the Middle East over the past day, delivering weapon systems and ammunition. In addition, more than 50 fighter jets, including F-35, F-22, and F-16 aircraft, arrived in the region in the past 24 hours. The past 24 hours. It says Axios reported that the scale of the military buildup, combined with Trump's rhetoric, could make it difficult for him to step back without securing major Iranian concessions on his nuclear program. According to the site, his advisors do not view the buildup as a bluff. And you gotta remember, I just heard that supposedly these negotiations with Iran and America and what have you, they've reached a dead end. So they didn't come to an agreement. It says one source described internal debate within the administration over timing. Senator Lindsey Graham says strikes could be weeks away, though others suggested the timeline might be shorter. The boss is getting fed up, a Trump advisor told Axios. Some people around him warned him against going to war with Iran, but I think there is 90% chance we see kinetic action in the next few weeks. So we got to look into the next few weeks. You got to remember, too, and the time we did a thing, the calculation, and the Passover is coming up in April, the start of April. So we're going to have the rest of this February month. You'll have March. So within this next few weeks, it could be a lot of things happening. Astronomical and very impactful events taking place involving this war. And you got to remember, too, They still getting all this AI. They're getting the B system ready too. You got people that have the RFID micro see it. They're going to start bringing that more to the forefront too. So like things are moving along. It said there's no evidence that a diplomatic breakthrough with Tehran is imminent. The report added, but mounting evidence suggests the possibility of war is drawing near. The U.S. aircraft carrier USS Gerald R. Ford left the Caribbean Sea for the Atlantic Ocean on the way to the Middle East, the Washington Post report citing U.S. security officials. According to the newspaper, the carrier is being escorted by 5 destroyers. The Ford is expected to join the USS Abraham Lincoln and its carrier strike group, which have been operating in the Arabian Sea since late January. A significant U.S. naval presence is already concentrated in the Middle East. Alongside the Lincoln are 3 escorting destroyers in the Persian Gulf near the Strait of Hormuz. 2 additional destroyers and 3 warships equipped with mine-clearing systems for near-shore combat are deployed. In the Red Sea, the destroyer USS Delbert, D. Black is operating, while 2 more destroyers are stationed in the Mediterranean Sea. You hear this? Hold up, let me see something. That hopefully my tablet not dead. I ain't charge it. Whew. Thought of YAHAWASHI. I got 50%. Oh yeah, that's right, because I ain't been. Gotta go to the go-to. There's the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. And it reads, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your prudent hunt into spears, let the weak say I'm strong. And that's what's happening now. You got all this military prep, you got all this nuclear tests. I think they said Iran might have did a nuclear drill or some kind of rocket drill. You got Iran. I think it said Iran, China, and Russia are supposed to be linking up together to do some tests. So like it's getting there, man. We getting down to the final moments. Joel chapter 3 verse 11. It says, "Assemble yourselves." And what are they doing right now over there in the Middle East? Going over there into what in the area of the Valley of Jehoshaphat. And this is exactly what the prophecy said. This is exactly where the prophecy said it would be going down. This is in the Lord's land. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, because what are the Iranians? Those are heathens. What is their merit? What is the merit? Even though it's Jake in the military, but what it represents Esau. Europe, NATO, Esau, Russia, Esau. All right, China, Moab. These are all heathens. Japan, Ammon. All right. Joel chapter 3 verse 11 it says, assemble yourselves. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together. Gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. And that's what's happening right now. And that's why they all focus. That's why so much focus is over there in that region. Because that's where it's going to really get hot and heavy. No pun intended. It says, let the heathen be wakened. This is verse 12 of Joel chapter 3. It says, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. And that's over there in the land of Israel, the land of Jerusalem. Over there in that region, the valley of Jehoshaphat. Remember, that's Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI's land. And that's the land that YAHAWASHI is going to take over first. Because what? That's his land. That's the first and part of his inheritance, man. And the nation of Israel, which is his people. So going back to this article, it says, Axios reported that the scale of the military buildup combined... Oh, no, I read that already. It says, one source described internal debate within the administration over timing. Senator Lindsey Graham said strikes could be weeks away, though others suggested the timeline might be shorter. So it said weeks away, but the timeline can be shorter. The boss... Oh, I read that right. It says... Hold on, oh yeah. It said there is no evidence that a diplomatic breakthrough with Tehran is imminent. The report added, but mounting evidence suggests the possibility of war is drawing near. You damn right it's drawing near. The U.S. aircraft carrier USS Gerald R. Ford left the Caribbean Sea for the Atlantic Ocean on its way to the Middle East, the Washington Post reports, citing U.S. security officials. According to the newspaper, I read that already. Okay, so yeah, this is where I left off. It says, according to Axios, more than 50 F-35, F-22, and F-16 aircraft were transferred to the region in the past 24 hours alone. The reports rely largely on open flight tracking data, particularly of refueling aircraft, analysts of the squadron stationed at the departure bases, and communications data. Official confirmation of force deployments is not routinely published unless there is an operational or other need to do so. And that's the end of the article. So, with that, you got you got prophecy coming back to what? The nations are assembling themselves. They're preparing war. They're preparing war. And it's nothing that's going to stop it. This ain't going to stop. This is going to continue to escalate until they actually start fighting. Because why else would they be doing all... You think they're going to send all that stuff over there and they're not going to do nothing? Or they're not going to fight? And you see how Esau's always going to be on the offensive for the most part. They attacked them last year. And that was what less build up than they have now. So they sending all that stuff over there. All those aircrafts, all those aircraft carriers, all those destroyers. That's them assembling themselves, beating their plowshares in the sword, because they're gonna shoot what? They're gonna shoot rockets. Now they might not start off with nukes first, but eventually it's gonna get nuclear. Because there's not much time. It's not gonna be a long drawn out time. Because since they're obviously getting ready for the beast system, which means ultimately they're gonna start ushering in the sea hip. So once all that and the days gonna keep going. As the days go by, we gonna get closer and closer. And the Lord said what? He shortened the days. The third woe coming quickly. And what's gonna happen next? What? The persecution of the men of the Lord. Where they should cast some of us into prison. They're gonna stop this, find every way to stop this word from getting pushed. Which is segue into this. Hold up. French president. Damn, I wonder if I could use Bloomberg. Damn it, man. Okay, so this is from Politico, which is a credible source. So now we get into this French president guy. It says pure bullshit. Macron slams tech giants, claim they are defending free speech. It said the French president has repeatedly called for restrictions on social media access for younger users. Oh, this for the younger people. Oh, this for... But wait a minute, they're using, because they could be using this to say, oh, they want to, from younger users. So let me get into it. So it says, Emmanuel Macron on Wednesday blasted social media platforms and the tech executives who run them in a fiery dismissal of their claims to be defending free speech. The French president used a discussion on university partnerships between India and France to flay non-transparent platforms and artificial intelligence systems. Some of them claim to be in favor of free speech. We are in favor of free algorithms. Total transparent, Macron said during his remarks in India. Free speech is pure bullshit if nobody knows how you are guided through this. All the algorithms have biases. We know that, there is no doubt, he said, and they are so impactful. When you speak about social media that having no clue about how the algorithm is made, how it is tested, and where it will guide you, the democratic biases of this could be huge. Since returning to office in 2025, U.S. President Donald Trump's administration has cast Europe's tech rules as a threat to America's free speech tradition. While Brussels has spent the past decade designing legislation to rein in big tech through landmark laws like the GDPR, Digital Services Act, and Digital Markets Act, Washington frames many of those efforts as incompatible with U.S. principles on free expression. But it's funny, it's funny because they talk about free expression, but you can't say nothing about the small hats. It said that dispute had triggered a broader political clash with U.S. officials and tech companies, warning that Europe's content moderation rules amount to censorship, while EU leaders insist that measures are necessary to curb illegal content and platform abuses. And you know they're gonna find a way to funnel the truth into this, man. Because ultimately that's what they really want to do. They really want to stop the prophets from pushing the prophecies and pushing the gospel on this internet, man. So they're gonna try to, the free speech and censorship and saying this and saying that. Because we actually are using our freedom of speech. And you see how America's saying that they don't want to take away freedom of speech. It says Macron has repeatedly called for restriction on access to social media access for younger users as a groundswell of European political sentiment builds in support of his position. So this is really targeted for younger people. But you know what? They could use that ploy. They could use that. But at the end of the day, we know what they really want. We know what they really want to do. They want to take the profits off of the streets. They want to take the profits off the internet. Because when you really think about it, it's like, yo, now all of a sudden you care about younger users on social media. Now you got all this woke culture. So you got the younger generations speaking against the small hats. Oh, hold up. Matter of fact, hold up. Shit. Let me get that in the NLT. Because that's what YAHAWASHI was talking about. Hold on. Because you have a lot of divide going on amongst Esau's kingdom as well. So there's the book of Matthew, chapter 12, verse 25, and it reads, Yahushua knew their thoughts and replied, any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed. A town or family splintered by feuding will fall apart. And what's going on in America right now? What's going on amongst Esau's kingdom, man? Civil war, civil unrest. You got a lot of Edomites. You got a lot of so-called white Americans that's really tight about the situation and how they're doing with the smart hats, man. How they giving them a bunch of money, how they using U.S. taxpayer monies to basically fund their lives. Why the American? Why? And remember, I'm talking about so-called white American. The so-called white American is feeling cheated. And you have a lot of if you go on social media and you go to these posts about what's going on with how everything's being found out, how they've been cheating the system, how they've been using the system to help fund these small hats. And it's the same small hats that about to have America go into this war. The least of the flock shall draw them out. Matter of fact, hold on, let me see that. That Jeremiah 49, I have to believe. Jeremiah 49. Jeremiah 49. Oh, I forget what verse I know. It's, Or is it Jeremiah 50? Hold up. Least of the flock. Where we at least? Yeah, Slocking. Jeremiah 50. Now, being that we have to, now there's plenty of breakdowns, plenty of videos. When you go into Babylon and certain chapters, like what I'm about to read in Jeremiah, the 50th chapter, Revelation, the 18th chapter, Revelation, the 19th chapter, Isaiah, the 47th chapter, Isaiah, the 14th chapter, when it talks about Babylon, the king of Babylon, it's all about America, because America is Babylon the Great, all right? So I'm going to Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 45, because it didn't take place with ancient Babylon, all right? So it said, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, that he have taken against Babylon, which is this current Babylon the Great, which is America, and his purposes. They have proposed against the land of the Chaldeans, surely the least of the flock, which is those small hats, because they're the least of the flock of the kingdom of the tribes of Esau, because it's a small number of them that's controlling the whole world. And says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. See? And they're going to bring America in this world, because that's the least of the flock. Let me see what that says in the NLT. I don't know if I ever read that in the NLT. God, I'm about to cut it short because I'm doing laundry right now. Oops. Fuck. $50, $45. Now, this is the book of Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 45 in the NLT, and it reads, listen to the Lord's plans against Babylon and the land of the Babylonians, which is this land right here, America. Even the little children will be dragged off like sheep, and their homes will be destroyed. See? It sounds a little different, but those little children are those Amalekites, man. Those small hats. Those small hats that have America doing anything that they want. And ultimately, they're bringing these motherfuckers into war with Iran. Because America don't need war with Iran. It's on the behalf of the small hats. It's on the behalf of Amalek. That's why they over there. Because who's over there in the Middle East that America is close to? The Amalekites. Because those are really the only Edomites over there. If not the only Edomites over there. For the most part. You know? So there you go. Like, freedom, they talk about freedom, French president talk about freedom of speech and bullshit. We have the one of the most highest buildups ever in the Middle East, they say, in history, taking place right now, and counting, because the one U.S. aircraft carrier didn't even arrive yet. They say it should arrive in a week or two. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen within the next few weeks. All right? Because they're gonna fight. This World War III is gonna go down. It's gonna take place. All right? It's not an if, ands, or buts about it. I'm 100% sure through the spirit and power of YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, because the Lord said what? It is his determination to gather the nations, man. For that great day. And that great day is when all the nations are fighting. And that's when YAHAWASHI returns in the midst of the nations fighting. And they're going to lay the smack down on these motherfuckers. So, but with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to give all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Kakadash. Double honors to the Apostles of Israel, a.k.a. the Apostles of Great Millstone. And peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. Shalom.